Okay, with Susanna Roberts, Depraved is the screenplay. It is a slasher film, a horror film, but it's got some twists and turns to it. And I don't want to give away your twist because it's kind of amazing. But did you come up with the twists first before the plot? Like, how did you kind of come up with this screenplay? Because it's basically people can look at it from a lens where it's like, oh, it's a slasher film, it's a horror slasher film, but obviously it's more than that, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah, I did it backwards, so to speak. Like I had the idea for the ending first, and then I had to
I
work
thought you
out
did, yeah.
how, yeah, how I was gonna get to that point, like what I needed to show and what needed to happen in order for the ending to work and make sense. So yeah, I wrote the ending first and then went back to the beginning and sort of went point by point working my way through.
How do you get, and then in order for the twist to be great and be surprising, it's also got to be realistic. It's got to be like, oh, that makes sense, because sometimes you watch these films, it's like that's a little bit crazy, like that you're giving us a twist, but it's not logical. But then
Yeah.
at the same time, you got to give these little hints, but not too much, I guess, right? Like it's like that push and pull effect, I guess.
Yeah, when I was writing it, I wanted to drop little hints that on the first watch you wouldn't pick up that that's what it's hinting at. But if you then went back after you know the twist, then you'd pick up, oh, that means that. And yeah, that
Good
everything
job.
sort of ties in.
I'm assuming the screenplay is doing good. You're sending out the festivals like ourselves. It's a really solid spec screenplay, so I hope it's going to serve you well in the future.
Yeah, it's had quite a bit of success so far already. It's had a few other placements. It's been performed, like the first 10 pages were done on stage with the WGGB. And at the moment, there's an Audible producer looking into producing it as an audio performance.
Oh, like the screenplay itself?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And they're just going to put that on like iTunes, or how does that work?
Um, she works with Audible, so that would be, I'm assuming, Amazon.
That's amazing. And but the screenplay formats.
Yeah, yeah. So they'd have one person like doing the narration parts, so to speak, like the action lines and things, and then actors doing all the voices.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, we do stuff like that. So basically, yeah. So that's why I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah, there's obviously a audience for that. That's amazing. Okay, so you came up with the. Do you know? Do you remember where you were? How you kind of came up with this kind of like ending and this kind of twist?
Um, I don't know. It kind of randomly came to me. I knew I wanted to write horror because I'd not written a horror before, and I like slashers. So I knew what sort of genre I was going with, but it took a while to come up with the twist. I knew I wanted to kind of break some of the more traditional tropes in slasher films with like who the killer was and how the story unfolds. So I started thinking outside the box. And once I came up with the idea of who the killer was going to be, everything then started snowballing pretty quickly.
Is horror your genre? Like, or do you write different genres?
Mostly I've written horrors. I have done some like what I would call more sort of hard-hitting drama type things, which I'm working on at the moment, and one comedy that I've
Oh,
done. But I would like to have a go at doing some more comedy type things.
gotcha. What about a horror comedy? There's definitely an audience for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I do like horror comedies. I have started writing one, which I do want to get that finished, but I've got so many things going on at the moment, writing wise. It's sort of picking which ones to dedicate time to.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a nice problem. Yeah.
So yeah, because you wrote down Scream as the movie in the blog interview is the movie you've watched the most times in your life, and that's can I call that a horror comedy? The first film, Scream film?
Yeah, I would kind of call it bordering on that. Yeah. I don't think it's marketed as a horror comedy, but it is. I mean, I find it funny,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I was old enough. I'm from that generation, so I was a teenager when the movie came out. So it basically was I was the audience in the moment, and I believe it was like they're just referencing all these pop culture
Yeah.
references in that generation, the '90s generation. So it was a comedy for us. Everybody was laughing in the theater.
Yeah, I like how sort of self-aware it is. Like you've got all the like tropes and cliches being called out and then they happen anyway. I like that kind of
Exactly.
comedy in it. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's yeah, then but the scary moments you're seeing it, you see it coming, right? So basically,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I would like that's a yeah. So like in terms of twists, because there was obviously a twist in the first Scream film. This your film was a fantastic twist, right? So basically, what films do you consider like the great twist films, like the ones that you never saw coming?
Oh, uh, that's hard. Um, I don't know if you'd call it a twist in, is it Inception, where they go into dreams? It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if you'd call it a twist or not, but like the ending where we don't really know if he's trapped in the dream or not,
yeah.
and you never really get a full answer. That one has always stuck with me. Um, but yeah, like I mean, Scream was always a good twist at the end of that one. I mean, I've seen it. I don't know how many times now, but I never would have guessed who the killers were in that one.
Like when you watched The Sixth Sense for the first time, did you know did you see the twist coming, or did you know before we watched the film?
No, I mean, God, the first time I watched The Sixth Sense, I was probably about 10.
Okay.
So I definitely didn't see it coming then, no.
Yeah. So yeah, because obviously this is like I said, it's all about the little like kind of like um hints, but at the same time, it's like because you watch Sixth Sense for the second time, oh yeah, okay, you can see it coming, right? Where like,
Yeah.
the first time I watched it, I was kind of blown away. I was like, what? It was shocking, right? So basically, and then
Mm.
that's what keeps people wanting to watch it. But then at the same time, you got great characters, you got a great plot. So basically, and it's still in that genre of slasher, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to stick with the slasher type genre, but I also quite like crime procedurals and anything sort of detective-y. So I had some elements of that going on in it with sort of mystery, like what's happening, who's the killer.
Yeah, 100%,
Um,
right? Like there's
yeah.
detectives in the script. So you got these kids on the campus. You got the detectives. You got all these other characters, and then you know that one of them's the killer, right? So you have to figure out
Yeah.
who the killer is.
Yeah. So I tried to like drop some hints throughout as to like various people that it could possibly be, partly to get the audience guessing, but also to throw them off as well.
Yeah. Like, do you have like you have red herrings in your script, like a red herring where like
Yeah.
you think it's that person because you're putting the focus on that person, but then it's more of a distraction, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I tried to hint at people who are innocent just to throw the audience off the trail of who it really is.
Yeah. So when did you start writing? When did you start writing screenplays?
Um, I mean, I've written, you wouldn't call it a proper screenplay. I've written things like that for years, but I mean, properly formatted, I would say I've been writing them for 18 to 24 months now.
Oh, so you did it's you're relatively new oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm new at doing them in a proper format, I suppose. Yeah. And like doing it professionally, so to speak.
So you started getting
Um,
serious 2 years ago.
yeah. 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 So this one was one of my first like feature length ones. Everything prior to that was just like shorts or just sort of practice writing, really. I'd written a couple of like pilots and one feature, which is sort of still in the stages of it needs work, but just to get a feature written and see how I could structure things. This was the one that I've spent the most time doing and has paid off.
Yeah, this is your showcase, right? At present moment, this is your showcase script that you can send people and to show your
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah.
So what motivated you to finally like get serious about screenwriting?
Um, that's partly to do with my background in that I've never been allowed to do what I wanted to do and pursue what I wanted to pursue. I finally got away from that environment and took the leap into doing what I wanted to do, applied to university, and then started putting my work out there.
Gotcha. But you were always like into writing, you're always into creativity.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a time when I didn't write things like even when I was a kid, it was like poems and short stories and things. I've just always written all my life,
Yeah.
making up like little stories. I made videos and things in my teens. Like, yeah. always been creative.
So I'm assuming you've had a good couple years. Basically, you're getting your creativity out there. We're talking right now. You're like getting serious about it. It must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it is, considering like that I wasn't ever allowed to do what I wanted to do and was always told that I couldn't do these things. Proving to myself that actually I can has been uplifting, and that's really made me feel good about myself.
It sounds like a screenplay.
So many people have told me that I should like write a book about my life or write a film about it, and I'm like, well, maybe one day, but it needs a more satisfying ending. At the moment, we're kind of in the middle.
Well, it's not about the ending. It's about the journey, I guess, right? But I'm just being
Yeah.
throwing cliches out there.
Mm. Yeah.
But no, because this is you've already succeeded. I know I'm not trying to sound corny, but you've already succeeded by doing what you're doing now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's had a lot more success in a short period of time than I'd anticipated. I
No, but I'm
mean,
talking about yourself, like as a human,
oh,
right? So
yeah. I mean, I have had some successes recently. Yeah. I mean, up until a couple of years ago, I wasn't really able to do anything, or, well, wasn't allowed to do anything. But yeah, since I've had the freedom to do these things, it's all been working out.
yeah, it's like it's an ebb and flow industry too, right? So don't take the the scripts being in development for a few years like personally, right? Like there's a
Mm,
lot of
yeah.
moving parts. It's not nothing to do with what it's something to do with what your gift or your how good the script is. There's a lot of like it's a business, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people that aren't in this kind of industry that I've spoken to just seem to think that you write a script, you sell it, and it gets made. Job
yeah,
done. And I'm like, I
yeah,
wish it was that simple.
yeah. It doesn't work like that. So basically, so then you got this screenplay under your belt. So you said you're working on you got a comedy. So you've thought about doing a TV pilot.
Yeah, I mean, I've written, I mean, initially that started as a novel and ended up being two novels, which I'm now adapting into like a
Okay.
TV series pilot, which that's taking some work to restructure it. As a novel, you can obviously put a lot more sort of the characters' feelings and things down than what you can show on screen without having loads of voiceovers. So it's taking more time than writing this one, but I'm still working on it.
So you wrote two novels.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
always write, and then of course, like in the background, people can see that there's some drawings there. So it looks like your son or daughter has some artistic talent as well.
Yeah, yeah, he's quite creative. He's always drawing and painting and making something or getting me to draw with him. Yeah, we'll spend hours drawing sometimes, especially on a rainy day. I mean, time just disappears when we're drawing together.
So that's like so then this generation he's going to do be I'm assuming he's going to be able to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, yeah, that's sort of break the cycle. If he can do what he wants to do, if he wants to, I don't know, reach for the stars and have some high flying career, great for him. If he wants to just have like a run of the mill job, work in a shop or whatever, he can do that. It's
Yeah,
up to him what he does with his life,
gotcha.
not up to me.
Well, it's congratulations. It's really, like I said, it's a really solid, like specs, like horror script, and it's got, like I said, it's got twists and turns. But your characters are very nicely developed, and they're there. So in terms of the plotting, it's a great plot. But then you're also got some great characters. So the last question I have for you is that thematically, what do you think what's the script about? Like are you trying to say anything not profound, but what's the meaning of the script?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm trying to get like a big important message or
Yeah,
anything
yeah, of
across. It was written to be entertainment and
course.
fun watch, but I think part of what I wanted to achieve in it was having the characters not being as stereotypical as a lot of slashers have them. So, like having the killer be someone unexpected in a way that previously hasn't really been done. And yeah, I think I was trying to hit subtle notes with what I'm trying to get across rather than like a big
Yeah.
world changing event.
Of course, but I'm saying like emotionally, it's about, yeah, that's what you're saying. It's about, it's because you're trying to like, you like the genre, you like the, but you're trying to like mix it up a little bit. You're kind of like not change it, but kind of like throw it on its head a little bit, kind of shake it around and give it something,
Yeah,
give it some new blood.
yeah, give it some like new twists and new ideas rather than just sticking with the tradition that slashers have sort of fallen into with the what 80s, 90s, and early noughties mostly, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, congratulations and best of success. Well, hopefully we can talk again when you make your next or if you win your next screenplay at our festival, and basically like keep in touch. Let us know how everything is going, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks.